everybody, and thank you.
Thank you, Manish. Sid, would you like to take over?
Thank you, Ajay. So, first of all, a very warm welcome to everyone. And before we start, may I request everybody to please turn on your cameras for a group pic?
How do we do this?
Sanjay, your video is on, don't worry.
Okay.
All right, actually, we have a lot of participants, so I'll have to capture the screenshot in 2 rounds. So it's partly done. Just give me a moment. Sorry, folks, just give me another 30 seconds. The laptop is not responding. In the meanwhile, let me also just request all of you to please keep your videos on as far as possible throughout the presentation, and keep your mic on mute if you do not intend to be speaking at that point of time. All right. Yeah, I think the screenshots are done. So with this, I hand over to President Ajay Bawala for coloring.
My co-president Ravi.
Yeah, I'm sorry. President Ajay Bawala and President Ravi, both of you for coloring.
Thank you.
Thank you. Meeting call to order. One of the marvelous things about community is that it enables us to welcome and help people in a way we couldn't as individuals. Welcome to the family of Rotarians. As a community of Rotarians, we are able to do what we probably couldn't as individuals. And a great opportunity to have a joint meeting with one of my favorite Rotary clubs in District 3190 and my dear friend and co-president, Rotarian Ravi Prasad, leading the Rotary Club of South Parade. I thank Rotary Club of South Parade for accepting our request and being the hosts for the online weekly meeting today. Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you. Thank you, Ajay.
It is my privilege to extend a very, very warm welcome to my co-president, Rotarian Ravi, and the members of Rotary Club of South Parade. I welcome all the Junctionites, ANS, guests, and friends of Rotary to this very, very special online meeting. A very, very warm welcome to the galaxy of prospective members for being here on this meeting today. I extend a very, very special welcome to our guest speaker for the evening, Dr. Mahesh Krishnamurthy, founder director of Nadi Chikitsa Wellness OPC Private Limited for the evening. Welcome, Dr. Mahesh Krishnamurthy. And we are very excited to hear from you. We are thankful to you for accepting our request to address us this evening. Welcome, Dr. Mahesh Krishnamurthy. Welcome once again. May I now invite Club Secretary, Rotarian Siddharth Hamirwasya for the Secretary's report. Siddharth.
Thank you, Ajay. First of all, because we have so many prospective members and we also have our friends from Rotary Club of South Parade, if I could just take a minute to talk about Junction. So Rotary Club of Bangalore Junction, as it started in 2010, we are 12 years old. And when it started, most of our charter members were existing Rotarian families who firmly believed in the principles of Rotary, in its four-way test and its core values of fellowship and service to society, and were keen to continue living the dream. Thus, they came together to fulfill this dream, and the club was chartered on 5th of February 2010. The club first, president was Rotarian Sanjay Sinha, and after that, we've had a whole bunch of great leaders leading our club, and we have done a lot of amazing uh, projects, be it in community service, be it in other areas, and we've taken the club to great heights in just this small duration of 12 years. Now, I cannot actually run you through all the projects that we have done, but let me talk about some of the projects that we have done in the last 1 year. Our signature project this year was a mega limb donation camp, which was conducted in association with Mahavir Viklang Sahayata Samiti. And over there, we were able to serve to change lives of 371 beneficiaries, which I think is remarkable. This is the first time we did a limb camp and we were able to do so. And another major project that we did, which is a global grant project also, is setting up the first human milk bank in Bangalore. This is at Gunashila Hospital in Baswangudi, and we have set up this hospital just about 3 months back. And within these 3 months itself, we have a lot of donors coming forward to donate the milk, as well as we have a lot of donee kids who are in neonatal ICU, or who are premature babies who otherwise would find it difficult to survive. They are benefiting from this milk and are doing really well. So I'm really, really proud that we were able to do a project of this magnitude, which can uh, help all these newborn babies. We also have some ongoing projects like the SRGBK school, which is being done as a CSR project with Paul Corporation. And we have already renovated or built new classrooms for them, and then we are upgrading their infrastructure in the school, and the overall magnitude of the project is pretty large. This school is now turning into a model school. From what it was to where it is going, I'm pretty sure the transformation is going to be remarkable. Similarly, we are constructing a school, a two-classroom school at Shantinagar in the BMTC bus stand area. It is for the kids of that area, and this is also by no means an easy project, but starting off with the school cum dormitory, which will have two classrooms and provision to construct more if there is a need, is another major project which is ongoing. Apart from these, there are many other focus areas, but let me just limit myself to this for now, and quickly come to some of the activities that we have done in the past few in the past 1 week. Just one moment, I think I just confused it up a little bit. Yeah. So last week on the 15th, we had a district training assembly where the incoming board members participated and they enlightened themselves on the activities to be done in the upcoming year. And I think President-elect Neetu Saraf is extremely delighted because now her incoming team plans are all getting firmed up. So excellent, and all the best to the incoming team. Our very own Rotractors at Wellinkar, along with past President Rotarian Anil Rao Paila, organized a blood donation camp, and 87 units of blood were collected. This was in the Wellinkar campus itself. This project was completed on the 17th of May. Talking about upcoming projects, on 21st, that is tomorrow, is the Ikshana ICGF Community Service, the last ICGF of this year. And people, if you have not registered, please do register and plan to attend. I'm sure it's going to be more than satisfying for all of us. It's at the J.N. Tata Auditorium in IISc campus. On 22nd, we have a family lunch, and it is with mixed feelings that I'm saying that our mentor, our guide, Rotarian H.M. Sharma will be moving out of Bangalore, and it is actually a farewell lunch. But nonetheless, I'm happy that we'll get a chance to meet Sharma. Celebrations coming up. So today, Aditi Agarwal celebrates her birthday. A very happy birthday to you, Aditi. And Rajni Chaudhary will be celebrating a birthday tomorrow. Rotarian Manish Agarwal on 22nd, and Lalita and Rotarian Nagaraj Rao will celebrate their anniversary on Monday, 23rd of May. So with this, I conclude my report and I warmly welcome all of you Rotarians and ANITs from both Rotary Club of Bangalore Junction and Rotary Club of South Parade to this meeting, and a very, very special warm welcome to our guest speaker, Dr. Mahesh Krishnamurthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Sid. May I now invite Club Secretary of Rotary Club of South Parade, Rotarian Anand Ramachandra, for the report.
A very good evening to all the Rotarians. It's indeed a great moment to have a joint project, a joint meeting with Junction. Junction does have, the South Paraders have a soft corner to Junction. We do share quite a bit of history. So for the first time when we are meeting each other, just the same way as Sid had, I thought it's nice to introduce South Parade to Junction. It's a 25-year-old club and we've just completed celebrating our silver jubilee. South Parade believes a lot. Thank you so much. South Parade, even though we have our projects in all the 7 focus areas of Rotary, we believe a lot in providing education. So we have about 3 schools adopted and another 2 schools that we are building. And then this time we are taking the education to the rural hinterland of Karnataka. So we have one which we just completed a couple of months back in Tipenhuli in Chikbalapur Taluk, and another one which is in an advanced state of construction in Bagepalli area. And the last year was a great year. So we were not in the job of serving the society, we were in the job of saving the society. The COVID actually gave us a big platform to showcase what Rotary and Rotarians are all about. So when the second wave hit and the oxygen was a big problem, we formulated a procedure to bring down the load on the urban hospitals of Bangalore. So we targeted the rural PHCs and we saw to it that we upgraded the facilities of Mudabagal Taluk PHCs completely. About 18 PHCs were done. And we reached out to the hinterland of Coorg, where the tribals are there. We had ventured into Chamarajnagar, about 15 PHCs there. And Tumkur, about 4 PHCs. And we saw our Rotarians helping the Kunigal Taluk Hospital also. And we were also instrumental in upgrading ITI Hospital along with Rotary Lake World. So I'm sure that the Rotary and the Rotarians were in the foremost saving a number of COVID affected patients. It also saw us that the hunger, the urban poor actually going really hungry with not many people reaching out. So we formulated a signature program of ours, which we called it as Sanchi Gondu. A Sanchi in Kannada means a sack. And Sanchi Gondu is Nanagondu Sanchi Gondu. So we partnered this program with the Hotel Owners Association of Bangalore. And about 42 restaurants came forward and partnered with us. So a Sanchi was kept in the hotel, and a campaign board which said, you buy one and you give one to the Sanchi. The whole thing was the donor didn't know whom he's donating the food to, and the receiver didn't know who gave them the food. I'm glad to say it's been a year and a month or so since we launched it. 4.2 million rupees or 42 lakh rupees worth of food has been distributed through the Sanchi Gondu program. These are some of our signature projects. And going forward, I am sure we have a lot more enlisted with Jitendra Raneja coming in with his own vision, which we had the fortune of listening to him in the last DTA. I'm sure we'll be up there along with any other club delivering the Rotarians services. I welcome all the Rotarians and thanks to Junction for giving me this opportunity to present our club. And I welcome our guest speaker today. And I'm looking forward to hearing from him. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rotarian Anand Ramachandra and friends. Rotarian Anand Ramachandra is the president-elect of Rotary Club of South Parade. And on behalf of Rotary Club of Bangalore Junction, we congratulate all the members of Rotary Club of South Parade for the fabulous contributions and service done to the society and communities. And proud to be associated with Rotary Club of South Parade this evening. And wishing Rotarian Anand Ramachandran a fabulous year ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
May I now invite President Rotarian Ravi Prasad to introduce our guest speaker for the evening.
Thank you, Ajay. If I continue to introduce Dr. Mahesh Krishnamurthy, I'll be speaking more than the doctor. So, doctor, with your permission, I'll be just shortening your introduction. Dr. Mahesh Krishnamurthy is one among the few who walks the talk in ancient Vedic practices towards good health and longevity. He has procured yogic education from the authentic Krishnamacharya Yoga Mandiram Institute under the tutelage of the late Sri Desikachar. Dr. Mahesh Krishnamurthy also offers Marma Chikitsa training, an ancient remedy from the pre-Ramayana era that helps balance the flow of prana in the body. This therapy can be learned by any person interested in pursuing natural healing method. Dr. Mahesh Krishnamurthy began working with people when he was 21 years of age. He has close to 3 decades of practice and experience working with people. He has provided his consultation to over 50,000 people over the years. Dr. Mahesh Krishnamurthy continues to work with people using his natural ability and a strong intuition. Dr. Mahesh's inward journey into self-discipline started in the year 1992. He was selected for the National Nature Leadership Camp held at the National Defense Academy. The camp was jointly conducted by the National Defense Academy, the premier organization that trains our military forces and WWF of India. He was in that year adjudged the best camper of the year. Dr. Mahesh Krishnamurthy also has been awarded the President of India plaque for his notable contribution to the pulse diagnostic and treatment. He has been conferred the honorary doctorate for his immense work in the area of Nadi Pariksha, known as pulse diagnosis. He is the recipient of the Exceptional Leaders of Excellence Award presented at the Women Economic Forum in the year 2020. In September 2002, he was also invited to join as a senior research fellow in the Center of Excellence in Medicinal Plants. Dr. Mahesh Krishnamurthy is leaving his second innings, having experienced 2 near deaths in the year 2009. Dr. Mahesh Krishnamurthy, I'm sure once you hear him today, you would love to be part of a physical meeting than the virtual meeting, because Dr. Mahesh Krishnamurthy is endowed with the unique gift of treating ailments through pulse diagnostic, which is the diagnosis, which is known as Nadi Pariksha. It is as tough as pulse in talking to him, is as though his pulse is talking to him. The remarkable feature is that he can accurately diagnose diseases, however subtle they may be, without reference to the laboratory test report. That is to present to you, before, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mahesh Krishnamurthy. Over to you, doctor.
Thank you very much for that introduction. And first of all, thank you for inviting me. My humble pranams to Rotarian President, Mr. Ajay Bhawala, and also to the President of Rotary Club of South Parade. My topic is something that I speak to my clients every day. And this is about coming 360 degrees to live our life beautifully. Our life is something that we all have made in a way that we think that the end of the day, when we have accomplished what we have set to accomplish, we are going to be happy. It's a fair thought. It's because we pull in all the challenges of serving people to transform our lives, to transform our family's life, family members' lives, and also to transform the lives of people whom we connect to every day. But the problem lies in all this stress that comes along this. It's not easy to serve people the way you people have been doing. I myself have been working with people, and I see how challenging it can get. But on the other hand, what happens is that our body, it starts taking a toll, and so does our emotions. And this is what we have to always look at, so that we can maintain that harmony that we seek at the end of the day. So I always tell people that if you did not have happiness in the beginning of what you started, you're most likely not going to find it at the end of the journey. We all have to be happy. We all have to start everything happily, but not do anything for happiness. We have to start everything lovingly, but not to do anything for love. And that is the only way that we can be satisfied and we can leave others satisfied in our journey. So this is the synopsis that I wanted to give before I start my talk. So I'm going to talk about two things. One is our body, and the other is what makes our body be what it is. Our body is simply tissues, cells that vibrate at a particular frequency, which means that when I'm angry, I get a headache. When I'm afraid, my heart begins to pound. And when I'm sorrowful, I lose my hunger and I start losing my mood is completely low. But what makes the body be the way it is? And there are three emotions to this. We all have been bestowed with these three emotions that are anger, sorrow, and fear. So our whole life is just governed by these three emotions. And of course, we have the shadows of anger, sorrow, and fear being jealousy, envy, hatred, or you have rudeness, you have aggression, you have frustration, irritation, or you have anxiety, you have restlessness. A gamut of these emotions that we choose to express on a day-to-day basis. But what we don't realize is that these emotions constantly and continually influence the body, and the body begins to change. In my work with oncologists, my work with other medical professionals, I have constantly and continuously seen how emotions transform into diseases. Be it your cervical pain, be it your migraines, be it your heart problems, be it cancers, be it diabetes, be it blood pressure, everything has to do with your emotions. And in my work of 30 years, what I have seen is this, which is summed up in Ayurveda in just a 2-line verse. And this verse goes this way. Kama shoka bhayavayuhu krodhat vittamiti, which means that when your desires don't get fulfilled, then you start experiencing unhappiness. This is common to all of us. And then comes fear, that in spite of being unhappy, nobody took notice of us. The world just moved on. And then you start feeling concerned, you start feeling anxious, you start feeling restless. And that creates fear in us. And that creates vayu in us, which means that it propels the energy in the body. The heart begins to beat faster, the lungs begin to breathe faster, and we start having restless leg syndrome. We lose our sleep, our eyes go dry, our mouth goes dry, our throat goes dry. And finally, we have krodhat pitamiti, when nothing happens, when none of our drama gets us what we are out to get, then we begin to get angry. And these three emotions, they affect our body. I have seen people who have been such good yoga professionals doing picture perfect postures, but if you're not in charge of your emotions, all of it leads to a different destination. I am a person who constantly have been given a 2:30 p.m. slot in talks, primarily the post-lunch slot. So this has made me a person who has learned to tell stories because I need to hold the attention of the people. So I'm going to narrate some stories that you might probably like to hear. So one of these stories is a practice of letting go. Okay, this is letting go. It's very important for us. If we have to move to the next step in life, it's always extremely important for us to let go. And if you have to let go, you have to be aligned to your gut feeling. Now, all the emotions trigger when you hold on to resistance, when you don't want to move that one step which is going to take you to the next. And I'm going to tell you a story which I heard from an army man. There was this mountaineer who was on his solo journey to scale an ice-capped mountain. And as he was climbing up the mountain, he found that suddenly a blizzard started. When a blizzard starts, when you're climbing, you just have to stop, because if you continue to climb, then you might lose your foothold and you might fall to your death. So when the blizzard starts, he quickly puts in a peg, and then he ties his carabiners so that he doesn't fall to his death. But he can't move because the wind is so strong. So he holds on to his foothold, and he realizes that the blizzard is simply not going away. And soon it is dark, and there's nobody there. And he just wants to get one foothold to get himself into a more comfortable position. So he just raises his left leg and puts it on ice, and to his luck, the ice just gives way and then he falls down. But the rope that ties him to the carabiner is connected to the carabiner, saves him from falling to death, but then he's dangling and he sways and sways and sways until the momentum stops and it comes to stillness. At which point he just calls out for help, but then it's pitch dark and he's all alone climbing the mountain, nobody to save him. At that moment, he just asks in his mind, what must I do? The mind is absolutely quiet. There's no point in being restless or anxious. And he asks in his mind, what must I do? And the answer comes from within, cut the rope. But then a fright runs through his body. I mean, like, that's the only thing that I'm holding on to. That's the only thing that's saving me. I don't want to do this. And then mustering a lot of courage, he again asks this question, what must I do? And the same voice says again, cut the rope. And the night passes, and in the morning, the blizzard had stopped. There are two other mountaineers who walk by that place. They see a lifeless body with a knife in the hand, just 1 foot away from the ground. We always have to take decisions. In life, the three emotions of anger, sorrow, and fear come when we are always focusing on the result, but not on the choice. There are only choices. There are no good choices. There are no bad choices. There are no dull choices. There are no bright choices. Everything depends on where your choice leads you to. We all have a great degree of experience from what we are doing. But the point is, if you're taking a decision, if you're making a choice, there is absolutely no proof. There's no evidence. There's no guarantee that you have known the future of where this decision is going to take you, where this choice is going to take you. The easiest way to get to where you want to go is to simply let it happen, which means plan your day, don't stick to your plan. Whether it be your meal time, whether it be a meeting, or whether it be any activity that you want to do, always plan, but let the plan happen, because plans won't happen the way we want them to happen. When plans go haywire, if we are trying to hold on to the plan, the one place that it takes us to is either anger, sorrow, or fear. And that affects our body. Now, coming to the body, let me just give you a peek, a bird's eye peek about what the body goes through when you go through these emotions. Much of this studies were done in yoga institutes, specifically in Kaivalya Dham, which is in Lonavala, where I went and witnessed the results and saw the different documents that they had. It's interesting because this is what Ayurveda talks about, and they actually demonstrated it. Our body is actually divided into three parts. Okay, so the anger part is the midrib region where your digestion happens. The sorrow part is your chest and above, and the fear part is your waist and below. It's very easy to remember. Now, when our body becomes sad, we start developing problems in our arteries. We start developing problems in our heart. We start developing problems in our lungs. We start developing problems in our sinuses and in our head. And name it, whether it is tumor or a heart block, or whether it is pleurisy in the lungs or pneumonia, nothing just happens like that. Everything has to do with your emotions, and I have seen it. I've had people. There was this lady who came from Hyderabad, and I was warning her for 4 years. The emotions that you are expressing and the desires that you are creating is going to take you towards breast cancer. Don't come to me when you have it. Remedy yourself when you can. And she would tell me, no, Mahesh ji, nothing would happen. Don't worry. And then 4 years later, sure enough, she came to me with the breast cancer. We can pinpoint what symptoms are going to come. And that's what my work is all about. Well, coming back to the body, when you're afraid, for women, your uteruses, for men, your prostate gland, your urinary bladder, your hips, and your legs, all of it will get affected. Name a symptom and there is an emotional cost to it. We have Louise Hay who has said that, but it is said much before in the science of Ayurveda. Ayurveda is so old, people quoted 5,000 saal pehle, 5,000 years. Ayurveda is much older than that. We are talking about the time of Shusena, who came and saved Lakshmana in the Ramayana. So Ayurveda dates back to thousands and thousands of years. All that has been documented. Well, if you must know how to live well, that's the topic of today. It's fairly simple. We require more of common sense than science. The common sense is like this: eat when you're hungry, drink when you're thirsty, rest when you're tired, sleep when you're sleepy. It's not difficult, isn't it? It's very easy to remember these 4 principles of life. But then what has taken us away from this simplicity is our lifestyle. What happens to us with the lifestyle that even I am practicing? I'm practicing the same lifestyle that you are practicing. I'm not different because I live in the city. When we travel by vehicles, be it your car, your two-wheeler, or any kind of a vehicle, your body becomes hyperactive, which means that your body is just wearing and tearing faster. The quality of life goes down. But what's worst is flight, because your body becomes so hyperactive that what happens is premature aging. Your body ages faster than you can imagine. Now, coupled with that are the foods. I did a research last year to find out how many people are really hungry to eat. what I found is that 80% of the population that I touched do not even know what hunger means. They don't have an idea of what hunger is. Now, without asking you that question, I'm going to give you the answer of what hunger is, and you will know for sure if you're hungry or if you get hungry or not. Now, hunger is a very simple feeling. If you can measure 6 finger widths above your navel, you will hit the pylorus. That's the place where the acid secretes. So when the acid secretes, a hot, sharp needle prick happens. And when that hot, sharp needle prick happens, this will shut down and you just want food. More than often, you will see kids who are not exposed to television, who are not exposed to gaming, and who are not exposed to the snacks would be feeling this kind of a hunger. In fact, my son says, when he's hungry, he says, "Don't talk to me. My mind is not working. I'm just hungry to eat." And when you get hungry, you're just hungry. You're not tired. You're not angry. You're not grumpy. You're nothing. You're just hungry. And your only preference would be vegetarian, non-vegetarian. If you're a non-vegetarian, you'd eat vegetarian or non-vegetarian. If you're a vegetarian, that's your preference. But apart from that, you don't realize whether
Dr. Mahesh, we lost your voice.
okay.
No, it's audible.
Yeah, it's audible.
It's audible. It's audible.
Okay. So you won't know whether the food is salty. You won't bother about whether the food is being extra sweet, whether it's more spicy. It's only when your stomach is full, that's when you will start realizing, oh my God, I've been eating such spicy food, or the salt is more. But hunger does not give you an option to for your taste buds to behave differently. That's about hunger. Now, thirst. A lot of people have a notion about how much water to drink. And even doctors sometimes give you wrong advice. If you have a kidney stone, doctors say, drink lots of water. But that's wrong advice. When you have a kidney stone, don't drink water, because you might actually get the stone to get clogged in the ureter, and you could inflame your kidneys. So how much water must a person drink? How much water is good for the body? Ayurveda gives you a very simple measurement. You just have 8 folds of your water in the morning. And that's about 450 ml. It measures to 450 ml. And during the day, drink water that makes you urinate 6 times daily. That's it. If you drink more water than that, you're going to flush out your electrolytes and get cramps in your legs. And if you're going to drink less water than that, you're not going to flush out toxins from the body. So you have a simple measurement of urinate 6 times daily. And how do you eat your food? This is the most important. What food is good food? We have transformed our lives so much that today we need to be told that there is something called as a good food. Recently, I read a post which was hilarious but true. It said that when I practice eating natural food, people tell me that I'm dieting. So that's what life has come to be today. Now, what food is good food? Any food that is cooked, that is heated again, it's not good for consumption. Any food that's become cold is not good food. Any food that is heated in the microwave is not good food. It's because it just changes the biology of the food. Now, in Ayurveda, we call something as bhutagni. Bhutagni means this is the intrinsic property that's present in every particle in this universe for it to transform itself from one state to another. And food also has this property to transform itself from food into nutrition. But when you reheat foods, or when you cook in a microwave, or when you freeze the foods, this property for food to transform itself into nutrition is lost. Then your stomach fills, but your nutrition is not derived from that food. So you have to eat freshly prepared foods. Again, because we've not been following the pattern of hunger, and we've been at the clock and eating, or we are eating when we have time, what are the ideal times for us to eat our food? And there is an ideal time. By 8:30 in the morning, you have to finish your breakfast. Now, breakfast can be just fruits, or it can be something very light that's easily digestible. And then lunch is the main course. All those who are in the army and who are serving in the army, and farmers who have to till the soil not with your tractors but with the ox and the tools. If you're plowing the field, then you qualify for eating non-vegetarian food. That's because the amount of protein and fat that non-vegetarian food has can only be digested when you indulge in hard physical labor, or else all that food is going to convert into undigested fats and is going to transform itself into cholesterol and triglycerides. But even for vegetarians, it's very important for us to chew our food properly. In fact, what I tell people is that when you put your food into your mouth, just count up to 30 or count up to 40. Keep chewing your food up 30 to 40 times. The reason why we have to do this is because we have salivary enzymes that has to break down the food. What does not happen here cannot happen in your stomach. The food has to be broken down in your mouth, and you have to necessarily chew your food. The same is not for non-vegetarian food. People who eat non-vegetarian food must not chew their food. If they chew the meat, lactic acid will secrete, and that will cause stiffness in the muscles. So people who eat non-vegetarian foods must not chew. They must just bite off chunks and swallow it whole. And that's why people who are not indulging in hard physical labor must not eat non-vegetarian foods. As far as I am concerned, my work is to do with sensitivity with my fingers. So I don't even touch garlic. That's called garlic destroys sensitivity. It's not bad food. All foods are good, but we just need to know which food is right for me. I mean, that's the difference. That's what we have to look at. And when it comes to dinner, a lot of people, especially Jains and Marwadis, they eat their food before sunset. And some people eat at 5 p.m. So what is the good time to eat your food? Eat your dinner? The best time is after sunset. That's because if you've gone to any riverside, I'm sure you all have gone to resorts, gone on holidays, gone to the beaches, to the riverside. And if you've just paid attention, between 4:30 and 6 in the evening, just when the sun is down and it is setting, you'll see there'll be a gust of wind. And the same effect happens in the body. The body will not be able to digest anything that you take at sundown. Sun has to set, and then the gust of wind stops, and that's when the body will be able to digest, that will be able to receive the food that you are giving it. Most important is to be hungry to eat. If you're not hungry and you give food, the body will attack that food. You will have excess mucosal secretions in the stomach. You will have bloating of the stomach and the intestines, and you will have indigestion. But when I talk to people about indigestion, they say, but I go every morning to the toilet. Your body knows how to throw out toxins, whether it's digested it or not. So your visiting the loo in the morning is no evidence that you've digested your food. So it's very important for you to follow these simple guidelines. There are few cautions that I want to leave you with. I'm not completing right away, but I'm just giving you this marker. People who sleep less will develop a fatty liver. And people who work more than what the body can take will also develop a fatty liver. And people who want to help others and expect in return, a lot of people expect in return. When you do that silently expect, you fatty liver. How do we know that we have a fatty liver? It's very simple. When you have a fatty liver, you want to have a sweet after food. If you have that craving that you want to have a sweet after food, or want to have some namkeen or some chaat or a coffee or tea after food, know that you have a fatty liver. That craving comes only when you have a fatty liver. But your lab test might say that your liver is fine, but that's just a bunch of averages that you're looking at. But your liver is not a bunch of numbers. Your liver is an organ that's alive, and that's trying to do the best it can to keep this body functioning normally. During COVID, a lot of people felt sick. I also helped a lot of people during COVID, and what the effort was to sustain immunity. This was everywhere. That was what was happening. And the easiest way to sustain your immunity is to stop feeding the body when the body does not need food. That's the easiest way to sustain your immunity. Whether it's varicose veins or whether it is hernia, whatever the symptom is, they all come from indigestion of foods. Your body is a very simple and beautiful machine that knows how to work. We have to stop being smart and we have to be simple. Your body knows how to live. Your body knows how to bounce back. All you have to do is to listen to it. Listen to the body. When you're thirsty, when the body is thirsty, give it water. When the body is hungry, give it food. When the body needs rest, just take a snooze, but don't lie down in the afternoons. And when the body is sleeping, to sleep. And don't sleep in the afternoons. Sleep in the night. And do go off to sleep by 10:30. Because if you don't, your body becomes hyperactive again. And wake up before sunrise. These are very simple. These are very, very simple things that we can do. But because we are in the city and because we have to make ends meet, all of these are not possible. Ayurveda has an answer to this, but the answer is not very comfortable or convenient to listen to. We call this prajna aparadha, conscious, deliberate, willful action. And Ayurveda says, bear the consequences. There's no cure for it. Well, this is the reason why we have so many hospitals, because people are constantly abusing their health left and right. The body does not need us. The body has no problem dying. The body has no problem developing a tumor or snapping a muscle or a ligament. We have a problem with the body, right? That's because we need the body. We need to maintain it, because without the body, we can't choose. Without the body, we can't decide. Without the body, we can't even emote. There's nothing that we can do without the body. We need that body. We need to take care of it. And the easiest way that you can do is to keep it happy. Give it what it needs. Don't go have your samosa in the evenings. Don't have your chaat. Don't have your chai and samosa mixture. People from Delhi always do that. But that's the worst thing that you can do to yourself. You're punishing your body all the time. And when you give all these things to the body, you don't have to, there was, I see people going to the temple taking prasad, even though they're on a diet, and they do fall sick. They do fall sick. No God is going to save you if you're not going to help your body. Right? There's no special place that exists on this planet which is going to make your body bounce back if you are not going to take preemptive action yourself. You're the most responsible person for your body. Everything else comes next. You have to take care of it. Your body is a temple, and you are the God residing in it. And all the gods out here who are looking so beautiful in the bodies have to maintain these bodies, and you have to keep it healthy. You have to keep it happy, because your body is what you need to move on in life. I open this forum to any questions that you have at this point.
Thank you, Doctor. Maybe if you would want to take a few minutes to explain to us what Nadi Pariksha is and something about that, maybe if you're comfortable.
Definitely. Nadi Pariksha is now every form of science. For modern science, you have diagnosis. By diagnosis, I don't mean the different electronic equipments that you see. By diagnosis, I mean the doctor and his stethoscope. So that's all diagnosis is about. And so likewise, in Ayurveda, we have a process of diagnosis. And this diagnosis is called Nadi Pariksha. Now, by Nadi, we mean the radial artery. The radial artery is out here where all the doctors feel the pulse. So the Nadi here means all the vessels, capillaries, the nerves, the lymph, all the vessels that exist in the body, they're all called in total as nadi. Now, pariksha means examination. So by feeling the pulse, we are not only counting the number of beats per minute, we are going much deeper. We can, by feeling the pulse, we can find out what's happening in the heart, what's happening in the liver, in your small intestine, in your large intestine. We can pretty much do everything that you do with the colonoscopy or with the ultrasound or with the MRI scan. We can look at all the organs. We can identify how the tissues are regenerating or degenerating, or whether they are healthy or whether any diseases is manifesting. And we can look at your kidneys, your liver, your gallbladder, your spleen, your pancreas. We can look at why is your hair falling, why is your hair graying. We can look at why is your skin being like this, why are your eyes like this. Everything about your body can be found out by feeling the pulse. And this happens just about 15 minutes of diagnosis time. You can also find out how you are emoting consciously. How is your analysis happening? Are you misusing, using, or abusing your intellect and intelligence? How is your sleep? How is your dream state? How do you wake up in the morning? All of it can be deduced without you opening your mouth, without you telling anything about yourself. And that is why in olden days they say Vaidyo Narayana Harihi, which means that the Vaidya just knows everything about you. You don't have to tell him anything. This is, in short, Nadi Pariksha. So we do Nadi Pariksha primarily to understand how the body is functioning. And that's because many of the clients will not be able to describe what they're going through. People come to me and tell me that I have diabetes. Then when I check the pulse, I tell them your fasting sugar is high and your postprandial sugar is normal. They say, you're right. And people say, I'm constipated. I say that you just have to wait for 20 minutes before you empty your bowels. I mean, it's not hard, but it's just not coming. They say, you're right. So people are not able to describe the symptoms, which is why Nadi Pariksha is required. And that is the core science of Ayurveda. Unfortunate that it's not taught in the colleges. I learned in Dehradun. I went to Dehradun and learned. The first time I met Sri Desikachar, my yoga guru, he used to do Nadi Pariksha, and then he would treat people by using yoga and Ayurveda. I asked him whether he would teach me, and he refused. But good fortune prevailed, and I learned Nadi Pariksha at Dehradun, and that was in 2002. And from then on, I've been practicing Nadi Pariksha. And apart from this, there is the practice of Marma Chikitsa, which was told to you in the introduction. This is a fantastic practice of drugless therapy. To give you just a peek at how powerful Marma Chikitsa is. Of course, I don't mean to quote this as an example of what you must do, but I'm just sharing this because I have the experience and the expertise. So close to 5 years ago, my mother had a heart attack, and we took her to CSI hospital and got the ECG done, and we found multiple attacks happening at the time. And I brought her home and did Marma Chikitsa on her and gave her the Ayurvedic remedies. And today at 85, she's absolutely fine. It took 2.5 months for me to treat my mother, but she's absolutely fine. No walking stick, nothing. She's climbing all stairs and doing all that. So that is just to give you a peek into Marma Chikitsa. It helps a lot in sleep apnea, in snoring, in improving joint mobility, and it improves your quality of sleep. It removes stiffness and in the muscles, in the ligaments and tendons. It does a lot. It removes gastritis, removes constipation, and can ease the lungs so that asthmatics can breathe better. For cervical spondylosis, very good. Migraines. It is extremely powerful and potent practice from the ages. And that is something that I practice. But what is important is, more than the practice is about 13 years ago, when I was sitting in my meditation, I was just told, give it away before you go. So from 2013, I have been teaching Nadi Pariksha and Marma Chikitsa, and it has paid rich dividends. One such example is I was in Haryana, where teaching the Ayurvedic doctors, the government Ayurvedic doctors, and one doctor specifically by name Praveen Sharma, he was posted in the village, and he said there was this patient who came to him, a villager who came to him and with knee pains, and the doctor, understanding that pain is a symptom of vayu, which means that it's a symptom of energy not propelling itself enough in a particular place, blood not flowing properly, prescribed a medicine, but the pain wouldn't go away. And the doctor wrote on the prescription notebook, knee scan. But the problem is here. The villager does not have 20 rupees to travel to the city. Forget the scan. So he learned Nadi Pariksha. He came to the training program, learned Nadi Pariksha, went back to the village, and the same patient came after a month, says, I took the tablets, but I had no result. The pain still continued. And this time he does Nadi Pariksha to the villager and finds out, Arey, the medicine that I gave increases heat, and his pain is one that increases with heat. And he changed the medicine based on his diagnosis. And for the first time in several months, the villager actually had relief from the pain. It is for this particular reason that Nadi Pariksha has to go to every nook and corner of our country. That every Ayurvedic doctor must learn this science so that the dependence on machines which exist only in the cities, only in the urban areas, is reduced. And all the villagers in the far, the remote parts of our country who have no access to it can actually have a diagnosis to their aid so that the doctors can actually medicate. This is what I have been doing from 2013, and that's the larger part of my work. We have been training doctors. Actually, we have a training program going on currently from the 16th to the 22nd, and we have a few doctors who have come here to learn.
Thank you, Doctor. Maybe we can open the floor for a few questions. If anybody would have any specific question, if you would want to unmute and ask the question.
I do have Ajay. Can I start with?
Charger போட்டுருக்காங்க பாருங்க.
Yeah, Doctor, it's a very good question. So I've seen quite a few who are 80 plus people who have been drinking and smoking, but then living happily. Is it because they know about the body, or is it something else to do with that? I got quite a few people who are living after 80 also with drinks and smoke, but living very happily.
Now, I would like to break your question into two parts. There are a lot of people who are above 80 who are drinking and smoking. You're right. They're living very happily. You have no idea. That's the truth, right? You have no idea whether they're living happily. Pleasure is different from happiness. So I also know a lot of people. I've seen people who are in their 80s who've been drinking and smoking, have no symptoms, no apparent symptoms. But then I have seen, at the same light, I have seen chaste Brahmin women who are in their 60s who cook food in firewood having non-alcoholic liver cirrhosis. I've seen both extremes. The point is, the body goes through a brunt, okay? Just because our genetic makeup is strong and our body is built in a way that it doesn't break easily, doesn't mean that we can consume substances beyond their limit. Ayurveda prescribes somarasa. Ayurveda prescribes arishta and asava, which are medicines with alcohol, but the prescription is laughable given the modern times. The prescription is only 3 teaspoons, beyond which it's consumed as a poison. It also prescribes dhumapana, which is medicated herbs that can be inhaled. These medicated herbs actually improve your lung function. And that's that Ayurveda prescribes that, but beyond which it must not be consumed. So whether people are happy doing what they're happening, that what they are doing is questionable. I've had couples come to me, and where the wife first introduces the husband, He's such a person, he'll make you laugh. And he's a person who just draws crowds. And when I do the Nadi Pariksha on the person, and I say, "Aapke andar itna dukh hai," and the person nods his head, and the wife is flabbergasted. She said, "Do I know my husband?" So whether they are happy is a question that they need to answer. And if they know the difference between happiness and pleasure, then they would. It is. I would also like to listen to their answers.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Anand, are you trying to say something? Anand, we can't hear you.
Anand, you're not audible. Maybe.
I just wanted to ask the doctor, how do I reach out to you?
Sir, my number, I'm just going to leave my number here.
Anand, we will also share Dr. Mahesh's number in the group, and Ajay will forward it to you all so that you can also float it in your club.
So I shared my number in the chat. We have an appointment system. We don't have walk-ins. We have an appointment system just because we have a rush. From the COVID times, we've had a huge rush, and the rush seems to continue. So we only see people with their appointments.
I perfectly understand that. It would be nice if we can get an appointment.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
And being Rotarians, anything new that we see, we would try to take it to the world across. So we were also wondering if we can put up some occasional training program with you, with some Ayurvedic doctors in a rural area, which would benefit a lot of society around there.
Absolutely. I'll be glad to do that. And also, any person, any commoner can learn Marma Chikitsa. This is something people should learn, because many a times people go through a lot of pains, and if one person in the family knows this therapy, they can reduce hospital visits, reduce medications. It'll save them a lot of effort and money. And it's not very difficult to learn either. We have seen a lot of good results with people. We have taught people right from their 18s to the 80s. We have taught the large spectrum of age groups, and we've seen fantastic results with the therapy. We want to do that because we don't want people visiting us for a long time. We want people to practice at home, so healing can happen at home.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, doctor.
There's another thing that I want to say about my work is something we do, which is called as Doot Nadi Pariksha. Doot Nadi Pariksha is a service that I received in 2013. What I mean by received is that when you give away old knowledge, new knowledge comes to you. So I don't want to go into the story part of it, but I received this knowledge. Now let me tell you what Doot Nadi Pariksha is. Now you are across the screen on the other side, and I'm here. You probably can be residing in a different state, different city, or a different country altogether. What I can do is to just have a Zoom call or a Google Meet call, a video call necessarily, focus my attention on your forehead and feel my pulse. And I feel your pulse in my pulse. I don't ask you any questions. I note down the details and tell you what your body is experiencing. We have provided the service to right from New Zealand to all the way to Ukraine. We have provided this service to practically every country in the world. We also have provided this service to Japan, and we're with a translator, of course, and we've had amazing results. So we also have some YouTube videos where we have testimonies of people who have come to us and got the diagnosis done and gone back to their home state, home country, the US, and given us got a diagnosis done and said how accurate both of them are and how close both of them are with absolutely no difference. So this is a service we are providing. So any person, any part of the world does not have to come to us. They can sit in their place and they can get the diagnosis done.
Thank you, doctor. So I think it's almost 8 o'clock and we don't have any other questions coming in yet. So may I now invite our Director Club Service, Rotarian Manish Bujawar, to deliver the vote of thanks. Manish?
Yeah, good evening once again, everybody. And such a nice and wonderful, enlightening session by Dr. Mahesh. And I don't know, I don't have any words to thank you and thank all the participants, but I would like to acknowledge the presence of Dr. Mahesh. Thanks for your time and the way you took off, the way you described the body, the way you described the emotions, and the way you described the eating habits related to the emotions was fantastic. And in fact, I was just listening very carefully and I thought, it's such a simple thing which any human being can implement, but we ignore so much. As you were talking about the food habits, like eating samosas in the evening, our timings, etc., etc. If you think of it, it's such a simple funda, but we ignore so much. And that is what makes the hospitals earn. So it was a wonderful session, very eye opener for all of us. And as Rotarians, we would like to promote this, and we don't want to keep it to ourselves. So probably I also insist that since I have shared your details in the club service team, I want the other clubs also to learn this, and want them to invite you. At the same time, the wish Mahesh ji could have given us some fund on the Nari Pariksha also. But the Nadi Pariksha, what you described was apt and really great. Our ancient science, our ancient technology is really fantabulous. No words to express it. And you have just given the tip of the iceberg. I know that there is more to it. So finally, also, it was a very warm and motherly feeling to have a joint meeting with our Rotary South Parade. And we also thank President Ravi for accepting this invitation. And I always say to Ajay that we have to bring in something new so the people are exposed. And now we have so many new things to learn. So thank you so much, Dr. Mahesh. Thanks, everybody. And we had a great time. Thank you.
Thank you, Manish. President Ravi, can we decall him?
Thank you, Ajay.
Meeting adjourned. I request everybody to please raise for the national anthem. Janagana mana adhinayaka jaya he Bharat bhagya vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravid Ganga
Vindya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Uchala Jalashitara Taba Shubha Nama Hi Jahe Taba Shubha Ashisha Maahe Tave Taba Jaya Janagana Mangala Dayaka Jaya He Bharata Bhagya Vidhata Jaya He Jaya He Jaya He Jaya 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 He
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Mahesh, once again.
Yes, so the floor is now open. So maybe a few minutes if anybody would want to stay back. And
Manish, please share his number.
Yeah, I'll share in the group.
Yeah,
And
sure.
also I will, so you guys can get in touch with him. Yes.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome.
Can I ask a question?
Thank you, Ajay. Thanks, entire Junction team, for the opportunity. We had a good time. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. If anyone wants to call me, please call me. Don't send me a WhatsApp message. I don't read WhatsApp messages. I'm because when somebody needs help, call.
Okay, what will be the right time to call you?
Call me before 9:30 in the evening and
Okay.
call me after 8 in the morning. So,
Okay.
and yes, yeah, one thing that I would appreciate is if you don't talk about your gut at lunchtime.
Okay.
Can I ask any questions?
Sure, I think so.
Doctor, this is Keshav Ram here. I was just going through the YouTube and I saw that Gayatri Mudra that cures cancer is, and there's something, a book written by Dr. Lata Shekhar also. I just want to know on that.
Sir, let me tell you something. See, the body constantly throws indications. All right. So if I get angry, the body keeps reacting to that anger. It produces certain symptoms. For example, if I get angry, my eyes turn red, my head goes buzz, and then after I might get a migraine, I may get some mouth ulcers, or I might get a burn in the throat, or I may develop acidity. You know, body gives me symptoms. So if I ignore the symptoms and go on behaving the way I'm behaving, the body is going to go to a point of no return. That's what cancer is.
Okay.
All right. So mudras, all of them are aids, but prarabdha karma cannot be replaced, which means that the consequences of your actions cannot be erased. You have to go through that.
You have to face your karmas in your life. That's what you mean to say.
Have to. You have to.
Hello.
There is
Hello.
short-
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you.
Thank you. Then if nothing is there, we can log out, Ajay. Thank you. Thank you all the South Paradian. Thank you all Junctionites. Thank you, doctor. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Stay safe.
Shubharatri.
Thank you. Good night.